In this video, I'm going through the answers to the exercises from Chapter 3 on data manipulation. You'll see on the bottom of my screen any keyboard shortcuts that I press. The most useful keyboard shortcuts that I use are Control 1 and Control 2, which switch between the R console and the actual notebook, which is being edited, as well as Control-Alt+I in order to create notebook chunks. And then once I'm inside of a notebook chunk, Control-Shift-Enter will run the code in that chunk. So to start, I'm going to load the exam PA data library as well as the tidyverse library. And here the data is called actuary salaries. If I wanted to look at this data entirely, I could use a pipe and then view with an uppercase V. And here you can see all of the records. You could even filter to specific values. The glimpse function will give you a summary. There are 6 variables, 138 observations. There are rows for industry, exams, experience, salaries. Now this is the data from the D.W. Simpson Actuary Salary Survey, which you may be familiar with. Question 2. The salary high column is a character type when it should be numeric. Change this to numeric. So I want to mutate the data and then save it as a new version. And I want to mutate salary high so that it is a numeric character of salary high. Question 3. What are the highest and lowest salaries for an actuary in health with 5 exams passed? So I want to mutate, I want to filter so that industry is equal to health and exams is equal to 5. And that will give me 4 records. And you can see the highest salary is 126 and the lowest is 68. So if I want to summarize, I want to use the summarize function and say high is equal to the max salary high and low is equal to the min of salary, assuming that I can spell correctly, low, 126 to 68. Question 4. Create a new column called salary mid, which is the middle of salary low and salary high. So I want I just realized that my keyboard shortcuts are no longer working, or no longer showing up appropriately. Well, that's okay. Salary, so create a new column called salary mid. So I want to mutate salary mid is equal to the midpoint, salary low plus salary high over 2. And I want to save this as the original data object. Question 5. When grouping by industry, what is the highest salary mid keyword is grouping. So I want to group by industry and then summarize so that highest salary mid. So high salary mid is equal to the max salary mid, and the high salary high is equal to max salary high, and the low salary low is equal to the min salary low. And you can see here for casualty actuaries, this is saying that the low salary is 11, which is, of course, far too low, which is what question 6 is referring to. It says there is a mistake when salary low is equal to 11. Find and fix this mistake and then run the code from the previous tasks. So I want to find the row in the original data where the salary low is equal to 11. I could just look at this data here. Another shortcut, if you just click on an object and press F2, it will view that object. So here, I could just filter salary high or salary low and see that the low is 11, and then find this row. If I want to do that directly, I can just use the filter. Filter salary low is equal to 11. There's that row. So if I want to find and fix this mistake, so the salary range really should be 114 to 166, but it's showing up as 11 to 66. So to correct this, I want to mutate both of these columns, salary low and salary high. So I want salary low is equal to if else salary low is equal to 11. If that's the case, I want it to be 114. Otherwise, keep it as it is. Salary high is if salary high is equal to 66. It should be 166. Go back and save that as the object. Question 7. Create a new column called nexams, which is an integer. Use 7 for ASA or ACAS and 10 for FSA or FCAS. Use the code below as a starting point. So this is a complicated function. Whenever I don't know what a function is doing, I like to look at the documentation. The way to do that is to type in question mark and then the name of the function. Here you can see some examples. So it takes in a Boolean expression, which is right here. And then based on that, it returns a result if it's true. So if exams is equal to FSA, use 10. If ASA, 7. FCAS, use 10. ACAS, use 7. And then for all other values, in other words, this last expression is always true, use this substring of the exams column. Now, if you look at the exams column, you can see that sometimes it's a number, other times it has the word exam afterwards. So for these records, just take the first character. So if you look at the substring documentation, you'll see that it takes a character vector and then a starting value and a stopping value. So this is the exams column as the character, and then the starting value is 1 and the ending value is 1. And this says NA is introduced by coercion, which isn't good. If I really thought that there were NA values, I could just look at the data here and see, or I could do sum, whoops, is NA. This is saying that there are no values, which means that that was just a warning. Finally, I want to rerun this code. Yeah, so I want to count the column that I've just created to see how many values, how many observations fall into each bucket. So I can just count n exams. Except first, yeah. So if I do this, you can see that there are 12 records with 1 exam, there are 17 records with 2 exams, and so forth. So this looks to be correct. Question 8. Create a column called social life, which is equal to n exams divided by experience. What is the average social life by industry? Okay, so again, I want to mutate and then say social life is equal to n exams divided by experience, and then group by industry, and then summarize so that social life is equal to the mean social life. And there you have it.